Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Now, on the news info, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has called on Nigerian doctors and nurses practicing abroad to return home and help straighten Nigeria's healthcare system, assuring them of his administration's commitment to creating an enabling environment where they can excel. Now, the president made the appeal at the State House while receiving members of the Nigerian Diaspora Medical Association, led by the Director General of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, during activities marking the 2026 National Diaspora Day celebration. Kikelomo Okere tells us more.
I've experienced it being in America. I've taken the best of America in my chosen profession.
President Tinubu further directed the Director General of NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri Erewa, to prepare personalized letters of appreciation for members of the delegation. He also commended the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Ishak Salako, for driving reform and advancing the administration healthcare agenda. Tinubu described the contribution of diaspora doctors as invaluable, saying their efforts will help build a stronger future for coming generations.
The possibility of changing Nigeria around. So many of you have seen the hazard of the other side of the world. You've experienced the tribulation, challenges, and you've come back home to feel it and seal it.
The engagement underscores the federal government's renewed drive to reserve the brain drain in the health sector by attracting skilled Nigerian professionals in the diaspora to support ongoing reforms aimed at building a stronger, more resilient healthcare system. Kikelomo Okere, Global TV News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria is determined to become one of the world's industrialized nations through stronger collaboration with state government and greater value addition to local resources. Speaking during a tour of the Glo-Digbe Industrial Zone in Benin Republic, Shettima said the Tinubu administration will replicate successful industrial models to revive key sectors, including textile, agriculture, and manufacturing. He added that expanding Nigeria's textile value chain could create millions of jobs, boost non-oil exports, and accelerate economic growth. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Josh Amupiton, has assured Nigerians that every valid vote will count in the 2027 general election. Speaking during a visit to former head of state Abdulsalami Abubakar Lumina, he said INEC remains committed to conducting credible elections despite the challenges confronting the commission. Amipiton also praised the National Peace Committee for promoting peaceful elections and strengthening Nigerians' democratic process. Over now to Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has called for a transparent, free and credible governorship election in the state as a major test of the credibility of Nigeria's electoral and security institutions ahead of the 2027 general elections. The governor, who was represented by legal practitioner Paulinu Olajigbese, made the call in Abuja during a visit to Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka. Ubong Usoro tells us more.
Governor Adeleke, who was represented by the legal practitioner Pelumi Olajabesi, urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, security agencies and other stakeholders to ensure that the Osun governorship election reflects the will of the people. He described the election as a critical integrity test for INEC ahead of the 2027 general elections, stressing that the outcome would shape public confidence in Nigeria's electoral process. He also alleged that the Osun State Commissioner of Police had been compromised and called on the Inspector General of Police to ensure a neutral security architecture for the election.
That the election in Osun State must be free and fair. Today we are very, very concerned, and that is why we've written again to the British High Commission that the police in Osun State is completely compromised. The current Commissioner of Police in Osun State is literally working, is being partisan, and is working for a political party. This should not be happening at a time when Nigeria is talking about democracy.
Also speaking, legal practitioner Olufemi Franklin said the Osun governorship election should serve as a litmus test for the country's democratic institutions, urging INEC and security agencies to guarantee that voters are able to exercise their franchise freely and without intimidation.
INEC to be impartial and independent in the true sense of it. It's important that we ensure that government is not taking as a trivial matter, but rather that government is taking as the job, as a servant's job, person who is employed to serve the interests of people only and for the greater good.
The governor said concerns over the conduct of the election have been communicated to relevant authorities, including the British High Commission and the Inspector General of Police, while calling on civil society organizations and international community to closely monitor the conduct of the elections. He maintained that safeguarding the integrity of the Osun governorship poll is essential to strengthening Nigeria's democracy and building confidence ahead of the 2027 general elections. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
Governor Mohammed Umaru Bago of Niger State has called on the North Central Development Commission (NCDC) to prioritize practical solutions to communal clashes and insecurity across the region. And the governor made the call while receiving the commission's management led by Governing Board Chairman Barrister Cosmos Arige at the Government House in Mina. Sadia Yakubu tells us more.
Governor Bago commended the North Central Development Commission for its early strides and urged the agency to focus on tackling farmer-herder conflicts and other security challenges affecting North Central Zone. The governor also proposed a meeting of North Central governors to provide a common platform for shaping the commission's development agenda and addressing region's unique socio-economic challenges. Bago further highlighted the reoccurring impact of annual flooding caused by overflows from the state's 4 hydro dams, saying the commission has a vital role to play in supporting climate change mitigation and disaster response.
So one of the take-home for you is to find solutions to addressing communal clashes, mostly farmer-herder clashes.
Managing Director of the North Central Development Commission, Cyril Senyo, reaffirmed the Commission's commitment to implementing programs that will drive sustainable development across the region. He said the Commission's intervention areas include transportation, roads, healthcare, education, agriculture, industrialization, water supply, electricity and telecommunications, while assuring the Niger State government of its readiness to partner in addressing insecurity.
It was not established to replace or compete with state governments. Rather, our role is to complement your great efforts, fill the critical development gaps, and add value to the initiatives of all the state governors.
Chairman of the Governing Board, Cosmos Arige, said the visit forms part of the Commission's engagement with member states to introduce its leadership and identify strategic areas of partnership for regional development.
Your Excellency, this partnership is very important to us. Looking how strategic your state is a state with the largest landmass. It has enormous arable land, mineral deposits, potential for tourism, and major hydroelectric power installations.
The visit underscores renewed effort to strengthen collaboration between the North Central Development Commission and member states in tackling insecurity, driving infrastructure development, and improve the quality of life across the region. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
Respectfully hand over to you. Thank you.
The National Secretariat of the Nigerian Association of Patent and Patentory Medicine Dealers of Nigeria, NAPPMED, has dissolved the Benue State Executive Committee over alleged leadership failures and irregularities surrounding its emergence. An interim committee has now been inaugurated to steer the affairs of the association and prepare the ground for credible elections. Our correspondent Felicity Indere will bring details in our subsequent bulletin. The association has filed a suit against Works Minister David Umahi over the death of Nurse Mary Habila, who died while attached to his medical team, and is seeking 20 billion naira in damages for alleged breach of duty of care. And the suit filed before the Federal High Court in Kaduna also named Habila's father, the Ebonyi State Attorney General, and the State Commissioner of Police as respondents, while asking the court to declare that the death occurred under unexplained, controversial, and unnatural circumstances. The associations are further seeking an order for an independent autopsy for experts by Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital and University College Hospital Ibadan and the National Hospital Abuja, as well as comprehensive police investigation before the body is released for burial. The Federal High Court in Lagos has authorized the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency to dismantle a clandestine methamphetamine laboratory allegedly operated by 3 Mexican internationals and 7 Nigerians in Ogun State. The court held that the facility posed a serious public health risk by restraining the agency from destroying the same disputed chemicals pending further legal proceedings. The case was adjourned to October for a continuation of the trial and determination of the status of the remaining exhibits. Bandits have abducted the chairman of Bangudu local government area of Zamfara State, Nura Abdullahi, after attacking his residence in the early hours of Saturday. The attackers reportedly engaged the chairman's security guards in a gun battle, killed 2 policemen and 2 local vigilantes, and abducted the chairman along with his wife and children before fleeing into the forest. Residents said the assailants stormed Bangudu town in large numbers and headed directly to the chairman's residence, while efforts to reach the Zamfara Police Command for official confirmation were unsuccessful at the time of filing this report. You are watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. News Cycle continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us.
Thanks for joining us. We're beginning to see storm activities moving into the country, and these will keep areas within the country busy with rainfall through the evening. As these storms gradually weaken overnight, dominants are expected to cross parts of Plateau and Nasarawa State through the Federal Capital Territory and into Niger and also Kebbi State by Sunday morning. Elsewhere, light rain showers are expected over parts of Ebonyi and also the South-South region. As we head into Sunday afternoon, storm activity is expected to become more widespread across most parts of the north and the central region. Meanwhile, rainfall over the southern cities, including Ekiti, Ondo, Osun, some parts of the South-South and the Southeast, are expected to be lighter and less intense. And that's your forecast. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Thank you for staying with us. In business now, Nigeria's bond money supply increased to 133.25 trillion naira in June, despite the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, maintaining the monetary policy rate at 26.5%. CBN data show the rise was driven by stronger domestic assets and growth in saving and time deposits, even as currency outside the banking system declined. Analysts say the continued expansion in liquidity could complicate effort to curb inflation despite the Apex Bank's tight monetary policy stance. The federal government has inaugurated an interministerial committee to develop a new value-added tax VAT modification order in line with Nigeria's Tax Reform Act. Finance Minister Taiwo Oyedele said the committee will review the existing VAT framework and recommend reforms aimed at simplifying tax administration, improving the ease of doing business, and supporting economic growth. He added that the new framework would complement the tax reform that took effect on January 1st, 2026. The federal government has launched a Power Force program, an initiative aimed at equipping 5,000 young Nigerians with technical skills in the electricity sector to tackle youth unemployment and strengthen the nation's power workforce. Speaking at the launch, the Minister of Power, Joseph Tegbe, said the initiative will help accelerate smart meter deployment, reduce estimated billing, and improve efficiency across the electricity value chain. Ubong Usoro tells us more.
The Power Force program was launched under the Presidential Metering Initiative as part of the federal government's efforts to develop a skilled workforce for Nigeria's electricity sector. The initiative is designed to train 5,000 young Nigerians as certified smart meter installers to support the nationwide rollout of electricity meters and improve service delivery across the power industry. The program is being implemented in partnership with the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, which will provide technical training, while the Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency will certify successful participants. Speaking at the launch, the Minister of Power, Joseph Tegbe, said the initiative will fast-track smart meter deployment and provide jobs for young Nigerians.
For every electricity consumer across our nation, that this administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains unwavering in its commitment to closing the metering gap. The death of skilled force has long been identified as a showstopper the government's drive to closing the metering gap. And this is precisely why Power Force program is a significant step that we are making to achieve that.
The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, described the program as an investment in young Nigerians, saying it provides industry-relevant skills, professional certification, and employment opportunities.
The most important part of it, trained, certified, and not just on meter installation, the technicism and the technicality that is in this practice. They will gain practical skills.
The federal government says the Power Force program aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda by empowering young Nigerians with technical skills while also supporting ongoing reforms in the power sector. Ubong Usoro, Global TV News.
And on the foreign scene, Tunisia has recorded at least 900 fires within 72 hours as intense heat wave pushed temperatures as high as 49 degrees Celsius across parts of the country. Authorities say most of the fires have been extinguished, while international firefighting aircraft from Italy and Algeria joined effort to contain two major blazes still burning. Officials blame the widespread fire on extreme heat, dry vegetation, negligence, and suspected criminal acts. U.S. President Donald Trump says Venezuela is not yet ready to hold fresh elections despite what he described as significant progress in the country, while insisting Washington remains prepared to escalate military action against Iran if ongoing negotiations fail. Trump made the remark during a White House news conference where he addressed questions on both Venezuela's political transition and the continuing conflict with Iran. Mukhtar Qasim tells us more.
President Donald Trump says the United States believes Venezuela has made considerable progress since the removal of former President Nicolas Maduro, but insists the country is not yet prepared to conduct new elections. He praised Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez for what he described as a role in the country's transition, while indicating that Washington would continue monitoring development before supporting any electoral process.
As far as the elections in Venezuela, they're not really ready for them yet, but boy, a lot of progress has been made. Delcy's been doing a fantastic job, as you know.
Turning to the conflict with Iran, Trump said he has not decided whether to authorize a major military operation, stressing that diplomacy remains the preferred option while negotiations continue. The U.S. president, however, warned that American forces remain fully prepared for military action if talks collapse, maintaining that preventing Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon remains Washington's red line.
I tell you that right now we're talking to them, so maybe there won't be a tipping point, and maybe there will. And we're ready to go. Look, we're locked and loaded. We're ready to go, but we're talking to them. So maybe there will be, maybe there won't be a tipping point.
Trump's comments come amid heightened tension in the Middle East, where weeks of military exchanges between the United States and Iran have raised fears of a wider regional conflict, even as diplomatic efforts continue behind the scenes. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
Meanwhile, Canada has officially inaugurated the Gordie Howe International Bridge linking Windsor, Ontario with Detroit in the United States. The bridge was commissioned as Canada and the United States continue negotiations over new tariffs announced by President Donald Trump. Again, Mukhtar Qasim reports.
Canadian officials cut the ribbon on the $6.4 billion Canadian Gordie Howe International Bridge, describing it as a major investment in cross-border trade despite the absence of a joint inauguration with the United States. The ceremony was scaled back after Washington announced a new tariff on several Canadian products, prompting Ottawa to cancel the planned joint celebration while diplomatic efforts continue to resolve the dispute.
Our relationship has been challenged over the last few years, and President Trump has threatened new tariffs just this month, but Team Canada has never been more united.
Stretching about 2.5 kilometers across the Detroit River, the bridge is expected to become one of North America's busiest trade crossings, improving the movement of goods and travelers between the two countries. Although trade tensions persist, Canadian officials stressed that the project remains a symbol of decades of cooperation between Canada, the United States, and the state of Michigan.
This achievement, having one of the most fluid and secure, high-volume border crossings in the world, is a testament to the long-standing partnership between Canada, the United States, and the state of Michigan.
Canada financed the entire construction of the bridge and says it expects to recover the investment over time through toll revenues under the long-term financial agreement governing the project. Officials also acknowledged that the discussion with Washington over tariffs and revenue-sharing arrangements are continuing, expressing optimism that both countries will eventually resolve their differences while preserving one of the world's busiest trading relations.
Through a series of exchanges between our leaders, between officials over this last week, and particularly since the new tariffs kicked in, there's work to do between our officials, between the Prime Minister and President, to resolve that.
The Gordie Howe International Bridge officially opens to commercial and public traffic, with both governments expected to continue negotiations aimed at easing trade tensions and strengthening economic cooperation. Mukhtar Qasim, Global TV News.
In some exciting news in sports now, Esther Uwogu has won Nigeria's first gold medal at the 2026 Commonwealth Games after producing a dominant display in the women's lightweight powerlifting event. Uwogu lifted 123 kilograms to finish ahead of compatriot Esther Oyema, who claimed silver, while England's Olivia Boom settled for bronze. The Paralympic silver medalist also set two Commonwealth Games record, reinforcing Nigeria's dominance in powerlifting. Meanwhile, Rwanu Idris has won gold in the men's powerlifting event at the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, lifting 208 kg on his second attempt to finish ahead of England's Matthew Harding and Malaysia's Nicodemus Ngoyi Moses. The 23-year-old became the only athlete in the event to successfully lift above 200 kg and secured his first Commonwealth Games gold, although he narrowly missed an attempt to break the Games record of 212 kg. The victory gave Nigeria its sixth medal of the Games and made Idris the country's first male gold medalist in Glasgow as Nigeria's powerlifting team continued its dominant performance with 3 gold and 3 silver medals. Still on sports, Super Falcons midfielder Toyin Payne says Nigeria are determined to retain the Women's African Cup of Nations title in Morocco, insisting the game's status as the Giant of Africa comes with the responsibility of defending their continental crown. Payne said the expanded tournament would be highly competitive with host Morocco, South Africa, Zambia and other top sides expected to challenge for the title, while also serving as part of Africa's qualification pathway for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. Nigeria, the second 10-time African champions, will begin their title defense against Malawi on July 28th before taking on Zambia and Egypt in Group C. And that's it on News Cycle. Here's a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and Free TV. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good evening.